Hi everyone, and welcome to Jane Talks Trek, where I'll be talking about and reviewing an episode of the original series, The Next Generation, Voyager, Deep Space Nine, or Enterprise. Today, I'm looking at The City on the Edge of Forever, from the original series' first season. Or as I like to call it, that time the original series went all quantum leap. This episode was requested by Seth Mackey, Old Straw Hat, Sam Smith, and Dan Willis, so let's see what all the fuss is about. We begin the episode with a red alert and a shaky ship before Sulu takes an explosion to the face. He looks fine. Apparently they're navigating ripples in time before McCoy shows up to inject Sulu with some dodgy drug, and when they hit a bump, McCoy accidentally injects himself with the whole thing. Ah! Shit! That genuinely made me jump! McCoy goes nuts, fleeing into the turbo lift, and into the credits we go. Security search for McCoy as he sneaks up on this guy who is seriously not paying attention during a red alert and knocks him out before beaming off the ship. So Kirk, Spock, Uhura, Scotty, and 2 red shirts go after him. Don't you want to take some medical staff with you? No? Okay then. They nose around Arches National Park, and it's established that the Stargate-looking thingy is the cause of the time ripples, and... I don't know why that's funny to me. Spock says he's not sure what the thing is when it starts talking to them and introduces itself as the Guardian of Forever, a time portal, and gives them a little demo before McCoy rushes them and Spock has to nerve pinch him out. Kirk wants to take him through the portal to yesterday to prevent the accident, but time is whipping by so quickly that it's impossible to narrow down a day. But no matter, McCoy jumps through anyway. Wait, what's the matter with Scotty? Uhura can't reach the ship because their timeline has been erased.
Captain's log, no stardate. For us, time does not exist.
Alright, Kirk, calm down. Red shirt family photo. Kirk and Spock plan to go through time to fix whatever McCoy screwed up, and he orders Uhura and Scotty to be their backup and also jump if they fail.
Good luck, gentlemen.
Happiness at least, sir.
They jump through and land in 1930s New York. Behind your ears, Spock.
Well, Mr. Spock, if we can't disguise you, we'll find some way of explaining it.
That should prove interesting.
The pair wander into the street, and Kirk steals them both some clothes, but gets busted by a cop, so Kirk passes Spock off as a Chinese man who got his ears stuck in a rice picker. But dude, I think he's more concerned with you stealing clothes, so Spock nerve pinches him and they run off. They find a dusty storeroom to change in, and Spock says they're a week before McCoy will show up, somewhere. And when he says it's too difficult to build something to help them with a location, Kirk sasses him.
I sometimes expect too much of you.
Suddenly Joan Collins is here asking what these 2 doofuses are doing in her basement. So Kirk admits he nicked the clothes and they're hiding from the police. So she's like, okay, fine, you're hired, you can clean up this shithole. They grab some food upstairs in the mission and Edith takes to the stage to lecture them about being good people and speculates on the possibilities of the future. Now with a place to crash, Spock works on his machine but needs platinum. However,
Mr. Spock, I've brought you some assorted vegetables.
And he says that shit is too expensive. And then Edith bursts in with a job offer and is like, meh, whatever, to all the nonsense going on. Edith points out that they seem like they're from another time. So Kirk walks her home where she questions him further. And he says some weird stuff, but she's into him. Spock gets his doodad working, only to discover Edith winds up dead. And then Kirk shows up to see the sliding doors alternate reality where Edith and the president hang out. But that's all the information they're gonna get, because Spock's machine goes boom. Kirk realizes that McCoy either caused or prevented Edith's death, and whichever one changed the course of history, so they need to ensure the opposite happens. Better get to fixing, Spock. This rando guy steals some milk as crazy old McCoy shows up screaming at the sky. And then accosts the poor guy. Wait, what are you grabbing there, dude? He thinks he's in some sort of museum and collapses, where the rando guy swipes something from his pocket and holy crap, vaporizes himself. Kirk is depressed that Edith might die, while McCoy wanders into the mission and is cared for by Edith. Spock gets his teeny TV working, which reveals that Hitler won because Edith's peace talks delayed the USA enough so that Germany could develop the atomic bomb first. And if she'd died like she was supposed to, she wouldn't have inadvertently caused such a shitstorm. Kirk's day is ruined. McCoy wakes up less crazy but thinks he's dreaming, and Kirk saves Edith from falling down the stairs, so she rewards him with a kiss. But Spock tells him off for interfering.
Save her. Do as your heart tells you to do. And millions will die who did not die before.
Edith checks on McCoy, who is feeling much better now, before mentioning him to Kirk on a date, who freaks out and runs for the mission. But a couple of dramatic zooms spell the end for Edith as she's hit by a car. Kirk is super sad. All three come back through the portal, no time having passed for the others, and with the timeline restored, they all beam home. Okay, this was awesome. I get it. I get the hype. Before I get into why, I have a few nitpicks. If the drug is so dangerous and you only need a few drops, then why did McCoy bring a whole damn syringe full of it with him? The first 10 minutes are setup, and nothing wrong with that, but if they'd shaved a couple of minutes off that and used the time for a little more bonding between Kirk and Edith to really drive the emotion home, it would have been perfect. Having said that, this episode's Kirk is exactly what I wish he was like all the way through the series. He's very real in this one, not campy and over the top like Arena, or weirdly aggressive like Requiem for Methuselah. We get to see a sense of humour shine through, as well as his heart and soul, and he has such a believable connection with Edith, who, by the way, I was convinced was a real person because her name sounds so familiar. But nope, she's made up. What was great about this particular story was it took place over the course of about a week, which allowed a believable attraction to develop between Kirk and Edith. So when it came time to make the sacrifice, it made it genuinely heartbreaking, and William Shatner sold the emotion really well just through his facial expressions alone. If you think back a couple of weeks to Requiem for Methuselah, you may remember how ridiculous I found the relationship and how quickly Kirk fell madly and aggressively in love with Rayna. And I was chatting to Indie Tiger Sci-Fi Review in the comments, and we both agreed that the relationship needed more time to be believable. And that's exactly what we got here, proof that the formula can work. Spock was a great voice of reason throughout, which gave good balance, and DeForest Kelley was able to show off his acting range and did a damn good job compared to how laid back and low-key McCoy usually is. Once again, I see the inspiration for later Star Treks, and the scene where Kirk comes in with the groceries while Spock is working on the radio is so Enterprise's Carbon Creek that it just can't be a coincidence. As I said in my intro, it also feels very Quantum Leap too, which just goes to show what a lasting impact on pop culture this series has. And also the setting is super nostalgic for me, as it reminded me of the setting of my favourite Christmas movie, Mrs. Santa Claus. This is seriously an all-round great episode that you need to watch for yourselves. So there you have it. That was The City on the Edge of Forever. If there's an episode of Star Trek you'd like me to cover, pop it down in the comments or come say hi on social media. If you enjoyed this video, then please hit that like button, it really does mean a lot, or consider subscribing if you want to be assimilated into my channel. Alternatively, feel free to check out my other YouTube channels, Jane Talks Real, Jane Talks Murder, and Jane Plays Games Badly. Thank you so much for watching. I'll speak to you soon, and live long and prosper.